Type 2 diabetes. Are your everyday choices putting you at risk? What if I told you that something as simple as your age or the type of food you eat could put you at risk for a life-altering condition? Would you believe that everyday choices have a significant impact on whether or not you develop type 2 diabetes? According to the World Health Organization, the global incidence of type 2 diabetes has been steadily increasing over the past few decades, and 552 million adults are expected to be living with the condition by 2030. What is type 2 diabetes? Type 2 diabetes is a chronic metabolic disorder characterized by high blood sugar levels resulting from the body's inability to produce and utilize insulin effectively. Type 2 diabetes is a complex disease with various risk factors that can increase an individual's likelihood of developing the condition. These risk factors include genetics and family history. Having a close relative with type 2 diabetes increases an individual's risk of developing the disease. Ethnic background. Certain ethnic groups, including African Americans, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Asians, have a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Age. Risk increases with age, especially after 45 years old. Obesity and weight distribution. Excess body fat, particularly around the waist, is a significant risk factor for type 2 diabetes. A high body mass index, BMI, is also associated with an increased risk of the disease. Physical inactivity. A sedentary lifestyle can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. Regular physical activity, on the other hand, can help reduce the risk. Unhealthy diet. High intake of sugar, fat, and processed food, coupled with low intake of fiber, whole grains, and vegetables, is a significant risk factor for type 2 diabetes. High blood pressure and cholesterol levels. These conditions are often associated with type 2 diabetes and can increase the risk of developing the disease. History of gestational diabetes. Women who had gestational diabetes during pregnancy have a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in life. Polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. Women with PCOS have a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes due to insulin resistance. Smoking. Smoking not only increases the risk of numerous health problems, but it also increases the risk of type 2 diabetes. Sleep disturbances. Poor quality sleep or inadequate sleep duration may increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. Mental health disorders. Depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders may increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. Environmental factors. Exposure to toxins and pollutants, such as air pollution and pesticides, may increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. Medications. Certain medications, such as corticosteroids and antipsychotics, may increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. Chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation, often caused by conditions such as autoimmune disorders, may increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. Pancreatic disease. Certain pancreatic diseases, such as chronic pancreatitis, may increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. HIV/AIDS. People living with HIV/AIDS may have an increased risk of type 2 diabetes due to the virus's impact on insulin sensitivity. Low birth weight. Individuals who were born with a low birth weight may have an increased risk of type 2 diabetes later in life. History of kidney disease. Individuals with a history of kidney disease, such as chronic kidney disease or kidney transplant, may have an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Alcohol consumption. Excessive alcohol consumption can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes, as it can lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, and other metabolic imbalances. Vitamin D deficiency. Low levels of vitamin D have been associated with an increased risk of type 2 diabetes, as this vitamin plays a role in insulin secretion and glucose metabolism. In conclusion, type 2 diabetes is a chronic metabolic disorder characterized by high blood sugar levels, and its global incidence is expected to continue rising in the coming years. The disease is caused by various risk factors. Unfortunately, many of these risk factors are modifiable through lifestyle changes, making prevention and management of type 2 diabetes possible. By understanding these risk factors and making positive lifestyle changes, we can reduce their risk of developing type 2 diabetes and improve overall health outcomes. Want to stay healthy and informed? Tune in to our channel for informative videos on health and wellness.